Hi, welcome. My name is Billy Cina, and I'm managing partner of Envy, a B2B tech marketing and RevOps agency. And the purpose of today's session is for you to walk away with three key learnings. First of all is how to basically get your creative messaging out of the door in the fastest time possible. 2023 is all about timing. Second objective is to how to make sure that your messaging isn't boring, it isn't mundane, it isn't more of the same that we're reading over and over again. And third purpose is to actually make sure that you are testing and that you know that your messaging is resonating with your target audience. Ready to get going? Yalla, let's do this. Okay, so if you were in the room here with me and we would have a discussion, we would all be discussing definitely that one of the top three curses of any marketer's job is the job of messaging. We loathe by and far the job of messaging. And the reason is pretty simple, really, when you get down to it. We all have high hopes and dreams when we enter the messaging process. We can envisage, we can taste what our messaging is going to look like at the end of the messaging process, the flashy new website, the crisp new messaging. None of us at the end of the day want to have generic, boring messaging that's just infested with buzzwords. And, it's just, but we know that the chances of it happening are just so huge. I mean, look at the top right here. I've chosen a few examples and putting my glasses on. We empower engineers to deliver better software by offering the world's most powerful open source observability tools in a single, easy to use and powerful tool purpose built for monitoring and distributed cloud environments. I promise you, I have tried reading this several times, many times. Not once have I managed to get to the end of the sentence without being short of breath. And the marketers who worked on this didn't intend for this to happen, but it's because the process is broken that we get to such boring messaging. And have a look at these screens. These are all cybersecurity companies. I'd like to name them the blue walls of death. I mean, if you take away the logo and you take away the CTA, you can't tell them apart. And again, you don't enter a messaging process thinking for 1 minute that this is what you want. Nobody wanted to get into here. But changing your messaging is tough. It's tough for many reasons. But predominantly, hey, the number one killer of solid messaging, and we all know this, is your grandma. Not only your grandma, but it's the grandma's messaging by committee. Now, what do I mean? So you start the messaging process. It's you. It's the product marketing. It's the CMO. It's the CEO. And it's the VP sales. All good. All legit. Then at some point in the process, you have to include the VP R&D. You have to include that angel investor who has a keen fetish for messaging. And you also at some point need to involve the CEO's sister who's just finished her BA in marketing communications. Now we love her. She's amazing. But there's no need for her to see the messaging. Seriously. This is what's called messaging by committee. And by the time you've finished with all the input and the, end-to-end this and the optimize that and revolutionary and ML and AI, you've just had 10 people messing with your messaging. This is what causes the disaster. And the number two killer of solid messaging that you really can't afford is your time to validation. Let's face it, from the minute you embark on a messaging process until it gets to your website, it's going with you to trade shows. The sales teams are up and trained on the new messaging. And you're also going to a trade show. Easily 6 months have gone by. Okay. And in 2023, you don't have that time. And messaging is all about timing. What we're witnessing today and what's relevant today wasn't relevant, this time last year. So if it's taking you too long, you're going to have a very hard time in order to ensure that your messaging is the messaging that you need. So this is the bit where you take out your pens and paper and you start taking notes, because we're going to be covering exactly how you can do it in record time. Now, we're all experienced marketers, so this is the stuff that we know that we're doing. We're doing our keyword research because, with all due respect to AI, and there is a lot of respect, Google is still our god, Okay, so we need the keyword research. We're all working with a conversion copywriter, storyteller, whatever you want to call them, because any native English speaker does not mean um, that they are skilled at writing. This is a profession. Three, we're brainstorming ideas. We're marketers. We're filled with ideas. So this is, this is the money time. This is when you express all of your ideas. You've raised them all. You discuss them. And then we obviously get to writing. But if we want to be on the time-saving mission, these are what we should be doing beforehand. First of all, and this is a big one, okay? Acknowledging there is a problem. Everybody involved in the messaging process needs to agree that there is a problem with your messaging. And there's always one that will say, why are we doing this? Our messaging is fine. We only changed it 2 months ago. We understand, my team understands what we're doing. So why are we in this process? This person, no matter who he is, cannot be involved in the messaging process, okay? Because they'll find a way, even if they don't intend to sabotage the messaging. So people who don't acknowledge there's a problem really can't be involved in your process, no matter who they are. Second of all, you need to ensure that maximum of 5 people are involved in the messaging process to get rid of the grandma's committee, okay? It's you. It's the product marketing if you're not in product marketing. It's the CMO if you're not the CMO. It's the CEO and it's the CRO or VP sales. Okay, that's max. Sometimes you can get one of the investors involved if and only if they are, they have a close tie to the marketing activities of the company and or to the strategy. But please, no more than 5 people in the room. It just causes huge, huge problems. And last but not least, you need to ensure that you're covering only 3 to 4 pain points. Yes, your product is amazing. Everybody's going to love it. And it can relieve 20 pain points. But nobody cares. And certainly nobody's going to remember beyond the first or second pain point. It just doesn't work that way. So yes, you can cover 3 or 4 pain points because you are because you're at the testing phase, but no more than that. No more. Okay, and only then move on to the keyword research. All good so far? Okay, I'm going to get cracking on. Nail biting time. It's been a couple of weeks since your conversion copywriter received the brief. You're getting the brief, you're getting the copy back. You are getting to get feedback only from the original team. Nobody else, not even the CEO's sister. You're going to be working on 3 rounds of iteration only 3. If you haven't got it 80% right or comfortably right in 3 rounds of iteration, the 8th round of iteration is definitely not going to be any better. It's just going to be mush, and the mush that with buzzwords infestation that we're trying to run away from. And last but not least, for every single pain point that you're covering, you need to have a dedicated landing page. It would be lovely if one landing page could cover 3 or 4 pain points, but it doesn't work that way. Somebody needs to get to your landing page, understand exactly what you're doing, decide whether it's for them or not, but that's it. They're not going to have time to read through the 3 or 4 pain points, definitely not 20. So keep to these golden rules. All right. You've reached a level of your coffee that you're ready to test. You go on to Winter. It's an amazing platform that enables you to test according to with your target audience. Okay, so you can actually ask your target audience between 10 and I think 40 people what they think of your creative and of your messaging, what resonates most with them and why. Okay, and it's really, really invaluable feedback. Because, so I'm giving you an example here of a cybersecurity client of ours, Verity. They wanted to test various pain points, and this is their branding, so we could play a little bit with the creative, but this is their look and feel. So we tested 3 pain points, and here just from the winter testing, we could see that 2 pain points resonated, 1 obviously stronger, and then the third one, we knew doesn't hit the mark, we can move on without it. Now, this was by far the most compelling, and hey, it has a picture of a man and a woman. It has the saying of stop asking yourself whether you're protected We're selling to humans. We want to get the human interaction going and the human juices flowing. There's no coincidence that this was the most selected pain point. Okay, but beyond the statistics, okay, beyond the I like this, I don't like that, you're actually getting real feedback from your target audience. This is precious. This is so precious, and you don't just get I love the color purple or this doesn't do it for me. You get why they chose it, why they don't get it, and this gives you a lot of information of how you can be tweaking your messaging. And best of all, these results come back to you within 48 hours. It's incredible, but it isn't enough. So you have your focus groups, the audience coming back from winter, and you have to make sure that the same messaging, the same pain points, the same creative is actually going to bring in leads. We rely heavily on X and on LinkedIn. And the golden number, I mean, I wrote in 100, but it's really, really the minimum. You can't, below 100 to 200 leads, you can't know statistically which of your messaging is resonating and whether it's going to generate the marketing qualified leads. Okay, so obviously the more budget you have, the more leads that you can get through the door, the better information or more accurate information you're going to have about which messaging is resonating. So if I look at, back of the envelope kind of maths, if we're taking just LinkedIn and for 1 month, for example, you're going to have $15,000 budget, let's say. 3,000 is going on post promotion, video promotion, etc. And 12,000 is going on lead gen. If your average CPL cost per lead is $250, that means that best case scenario, in 1 month, you're going to get 48 leads. Out of those, 4 to 8 leads are going to become MQLs. Statistically, definitely not enough in order to understand whether you've hit the nail on the head with your messaging or what needs to be improved. I'm going to give you, end up with a couple of examples from a client of ours, Calabria, who wanted to test 4 pain points. They were launching an email collaboration platform back at the end of 2022, and a lot of the testing happened in the beginning of 2023. And you can see here that, again, based on their branding, we had 4 pain points that we wanted to test. These are the ad versions, and they also had landing page versions. And what you can see here is by far the ending the ping pong email ping pong was by far the highest converting when it came to the lead generation form. However, when we got to landing pages, this was the highest converter. What did that mean to us, and what does that mean for the client? Well, it meant that basically we could stop testing the 2 that were lagging behind massively, and we could go back to optimizing the landing pages and the ads for the other 2 concepts. Okay, so that happened within a period of a couple of months. We already had enough data to start on those optimizations. When do you stop? Good question. So obviously, if you're getting tons of relevant leads, you don't stop. You carry on because it's a milking cow, and you carry on and optimize along the same pain points, the same messaging, the same creative. When do you stop? Well, if you see that the leads that are coming through the door are basically irrelevant, they're not converting to become marketing qualified leads, the sales team are not managing to convert them to opportunities, that's when you know that you have to go back to the drawing board with your creative and with your pain point messaging. That's it in a nutshell. I'm here for any questions. I would love to speak to you more about this. Feel free to chat with me here. Thank you.